are kicking off this half hour talking about cell phones in school. As of May of 2023, Florida law requires cell phones to be put away and off during class.
But one local district is taking things even further, banning the use of phones in school altogether, from first bell to last bell. And as our Tiffany Rosso reports from Martin County, that policy is paying off in some surprising ways.
You also refuse to give your cell phone up today.
These students' phones are in cell phone jail. Martin County School District's policy is you use it, you lose it, and your parent has to come pick it up at the end of the day.
It's not until they leave the campus that they can take their phones out.
No phones means no phones.
No phones is no phones.
Not at lunch, not at anything.
Nowhere.
Jensen Beach High School principal Lori Vogel runs a tight ship and says prohibiting cell phones has made a big impact, especially with grades.
We had a reduced amount of failures in the first semester from last year.
From having this phone ban and that reinforcement from the district, what have you noticed as far as how it's helped the kids?
They're way more focused. They're not worried about their phones because they know that no one else is going to be texting them.
And Principal Vogel says it's not just academics that have improved, but all kinds of disruptive on-campus conduct, including fewer fights.
Way less bullying, way less video taking, way less Instagram, social media posts of inappropriate things.
Martin County School District has had a zero cell phone policy for a while, but Superintendent Michael Main tells CBS 12 News they've refined that policy to make it more effective.
The level, the consequences, right, and the level of progressive discipline that's handed down.
They get caught, we take the cell phone, they get officer discipline referral, and they get their cell phone taken away, and the consequences get more severe that include detentions, in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension.
Those new rules have made a difference. Cell phone punishments, or referrals as they're called, are down from 540 at the beginning of the school year to just 150 in December. That's district-wide.
So the kids really know what the expectations are here, and they rise to them every single day.
You're a lucky principal.
I have great kids, and I have a great community and great parents.
All right, and Tiffany is joining us on the couch. Now, Tiffany, we think it's really important to outline, how different the policies are in our different school districts. And I know you reached out to Palm Beach County and the others to see what their policies are like.
Yeah, so the other policies, it seems to be a little bit more loose. They can't have their phones out during instructional class time. So for most of the other counties like Palm Beach County or St. Lucie County, they're not allowed to have it out during that class time, but it doesn't say they can't have it out when they're walking to class like you saw with Martin County School District. They can't have it out at all, not at lunch, not walking to and from class. So it's a whole day without their phone, which seems to be really good for these kids.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you outlined it. It's just, bullying is one of the big things here.
Yeah, I did a story in the fall, and I was at a Martin County school, and, one of the guidance counselors there said one of the big things she saw was cyberbullying was down because these kids don't have their phone during the day. They can't take videos of each other on campus, so she was seeing a lot less students in her office, and it was just making things better on campus.
Mm-hmm. And that's what the principal was telling me is, a fight happens on campus, and kids can't take out their phone to record, so they're not doing it for that attention. It's not happening as often as it would when those phones are reinforcing it. And their phone jail that they had set up, what an awesome idea. When the kids, do take their phone out, they do have those disciplinary actions as far as, making the parent come to the school to get that phone, detentions, and then, of course, suspension. So they're strict about it as well.
Yeah. No one wants their parent to have to come pick up their cell phone.
Yeah, as part of my teacher burnout story that I did a couple months ago, I spoke to a lot of Palm Beach County teachers, and they had a big issue with the kids being able to have the phones in between classes, because what would wind up happening is that possibly a text conversation or some sort of conversation would then bubble into class, and you could see that these kids were being emotionally affected. I mean, you can imagine sometimes if you're having a text conversation, you got to be in class, and then you got to shut it off, and then your phone buzzes, and all of a sudden you're
it's a distraction.
Peeking, and that kind of stuff is happening all the time. And one teacher I spoke to, what he had in his class was everybody shows up and puts their phone on the desk, on his desk, the teacher's desk, so that they wouldn't have it. But still, it can be this huge distraction, even if it's off, or even if it, it being just there can be a huge distraction for these kids.
Yeah, it's great to see the positive effects that it's having at these schools in Martin County.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think that the grades are a big thing. I know there are a lot of teachers that would love to see that happen at all of our local school districts. Okay.